everyone, I'm Sandeep Sharma, Senior Marketing Manager at Xiaomi India, and today we are here at this beautiful location to take a look at portrait photography on the Xiaomi 12 Pro and showcase why this is the absolute best smartphone when it comes to its camera capabilities and especially in terms of portraits. Now I'll also be giving you a few tips and tricks on how you can elevate your portrait photography game. Let's begin. Now before we get into what makes great portraiture, we need to first understand what a portrait is. The simple definition is a frame that constitutes a person's face, their head as well as their shoulders. Now that is the textbook definition, but you can go above and beyond that and be as creative as possible because photography is all about breaking or rewriting the rules, so you can choose to include more of the surroundings or more of the person's body if you wish to do so. So essentially the first and most important thing to do is ensure that your subject is always in focus. But where exactly do you focus on? Well, that's very simple. You always focus on the eyes. And in case your eyes aren't in the same focal plane, then what you do is focus on the eye that is closest to the camera or lens. The reasoning behind focusing on the eyes is the fact that as humans, we're used to interacting with people and having conversations by looking them in the eyes. Now the eyes are also able to communicate a different level of emotion that other facial expressions aren't capable of displaying. That added complexity and the natural feeling is what makes it the optimal focal point. Luckily for you, the Xiaomi 12 Pro comes with Pro Focus, which is a proprietary Xiaomi technology, and one of its key features is eye tracking that ensures that your subject's eyes are always in focus. So you no longer need to constantly tap your subject's eyes and ensure that they're in focus before capturing an image. No, the Xiaomi 12 Pro actually does that constantly and instantly. This makes sure that your subject, regardless of where he or she is in the frame, it manages to capture the pure essence of their eyes beautifully, ensuring great, incredible looking results. The next thing that you need to ensure for a good portrait is basically a sharp subject. Now there are two issues that plague most smartphone cameras. The first one is that your subject may be in motion, thus resulting in motion blur, and the second is shaky hands, which causes shaky images. Now with the help of motion capture technology, which is part of our Pro Focus Xiaomi proprietary technology, we basically ensure that both these problems are solved 100%. What motion capture does is basically two things. Firstly, it ensures that even if you have shaky hands, you still get perfectly usable images thanks to the clever algorithm that ensures that there are no shakes being captured and a very fast shutter. The second thing is that it captures multiple frames at any given moment, thus meaning that all your shots are motion blur free and you have perfect sharpness each and every time. Focal length plays a very important role in getting a good portrait. If you have a wider field of view, you will notice that your subjects get very distorted and their facial features and expressions aren't depicted accurately, and it makes them look very unflattering. Now if you go very much in the tele range, approximate 3x or more to put it simply, you will start seeing compression of the subject, which also isn't too ideal. This is why we have given a telephoto camera with 2x focal length of the primary camera at 48mm, which is also practically giving you the same experience as what you would get from a 50mm focal length on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. 50mm is what I and many others consider to be a sweet spot for portraits, as it gives the best possible representation of your subject without any distortion or compression. Now due to focal length, you also get great separation between the subject and background and also gives a very natural bokeh and blur. That's not all, we also give you the option to use the wide angle camera to shoot portraits with the same great focus, sharpness, dynamic range, skin tones and blurring algorithm as that of the telephoto camera. Skin tonality is perhaps one of the most important attributes to a great photo. The ability of a camera to capture the true natural essence of skin is a trait that most photographers look for, and with the Xiaomi 12 Pro, we are pleased to say that we have created the most accurate rendition of skin tones on a smartphone yet. Our camera and product teams have worked hard on capturing, analyzing and tweaking the algorithm to get you the purest and most natural looking skin that you would get on any smartphone camera. Great portraits also require great lighting, By this, what I mean is that while you ensure great exposure on your subject, you also have to ensure that your surroundings are also captured in their true essence. By this, the usual challenging conditions generally mean that you have overexposed highlights, underexposed shadows, and when the light drops even further, you also have a chance to have a lot of noise introduced into a frame and add one more complexity, often too dark an exposure on the subject itself. However, with the Xiaomi 12 Pro, you no longer have this issue because we have Portrait HDR. What this means is that details are captured evenly across the frame. You have perfectly controlled highlights and shadows, plenty of detail and good exposure on the subject, and when the light drops completely, that is in low light, you still get stellar performance that you got in the regular mode, but now with the night portrait mode, you can create portraits even in really challenging lighting conditions. Apart from this, we also wanted to showcase just how the Xiaomi 12 Pro is capable in terms of artificial lighting conditions or in studio-like conditions. So here is the setup we did to create high-key and low-key photos using nothing but just the Xiaomi 12 Pro camera and artificial lights. That was great portraiture with the Xiaomi 12 Pro, the absolute best when it comes to not just the portraits on any smartphone, but also when it comes to the camera setup on any smartphone in the market right now. We hope that you also got some valuable lessons through the various tips and tricks that we shared with respect to portraits, and hopefully you will be able to apply this when you shoot it on your brand new Xiaomi 12 Pro very soon.